welcome to this Saturday live session. I'm very happy to be here with you today. Very happy to be here with you today. We are going to go at it today. We're going to go at it. Now, I got a doozy for you, y'all. I got a doozy for you. We're going to go in. We ain't going to waste no time. Today's episode is called The Trust Code. If you see me right now, you see this whiteboard behind me, so you know we about to get into some things. But today is called The Trust Code. And I'm going to tell you a little story as we're going in. Now, it reminds me of a Tuesday morning. It was 8:14 in the morning, and I'm pulling into the office, and I'm in the parking lot. I got my coffee in the cup holder, and I get a voicemail. I got one waiting on me, and it's from a caregiver. I'm going to call her Denise. That's not a real name, so don't worry. Her anonymity is protected. She'd been with A Touch of Love for 6 years. She was a senior caregiver. Matter of fact, she was the one that I'd hand the most difficult cases to. I would handle her those clients, those hardest clients. And I wouldn't have to worry about those clients for a second. That's how thorough she was. But the voicemail, I won't even forget it. I can never forget this. It was exactly 43 seconds long. And she was resigning. She put in her 2 weeks notice. She was super polite, as always, professional, but the tone was final. And I sat in that parking lot for over 10 minutes, my coffee getting cold, and I was trying to figure out what it was that I missed. Because 6 years of perfect attendance, 6 years of glowing client reviews, 6 years of she is amazing, we're so lucky to have her. 6 years. And I had no idea why she was leaving. Not a hint. We hadn't had a single conversation where she said, hey, something isn't working for me. None of it. 2 weeks later, on the last day, I asked her, not as a boss, but as somebody who actually wanted to know. And I asked her, what changed? She looked at me for a long second. And then she said, Mr. Smith, nothing changed. That's the problem. She said, I've been telling people for over a year now that I needed something different. I just stopped telling you. Stopped telling me. She wasn't telling her boss anything because at some point, without me noticing, she decided that I wasn't worth telling. Good afternoon, family. Welcome to this Saturday Live. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mr. Smith, founder of A Touch of Love Home Care, right here in the state of Connecticut. I'm also the founder of the Home Care 7-Figure Blueprint community. And for today, I'm also your coach. I just told you a story that I have only told 2 other people in my life. My wife and business partner, Bridget, and my mentor. And I've not told anyone else that story until today. Because this week, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m., we walk through what it really takes to build a team. And I'm talking about the kind of team that doesn't go silent on you, a team that tells you the truth, a team that trusts you with the hard things before they become the leaving things. You see, you showed up on Monday, Tuesday. Some of you showed up on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, showed up every day of the week. And for those of you who showed up every day, I want you to know that that's not normal. That's what we call commitment. And for those of you who did it, I am super proud of you. Now, today, we're going to put it all together: vulnerability, trust gaps, sharing struggles, safe culture, performance. We're going to bring it into one system in this one session. We're going to do it right now. And I call it the trust code. Now, I want you to drop trust in the chat right now if you've ever found out that a team member was leaving and realized you should have seen it coming. Drop it in the chat. TRUST, trust. Now, here's something that I didn't know until years after that Denise voicemail. There's a researcher at Harvard University in the business school. Her name is Amy Edmondson. And back in 1999, she did a study on hospital teams. She did it because she wanted to know what made some teams work better than others. She figured she'd find a simple answer. The better teams may make fewer mistakes. But what she found was the exact opposite. The better teams actually reported more mistakes, but not because they made more, because they felt safe enough to take ownership of them and say they did. And she gave it a name. She called it psychological safety. Remember that, psychological safety. Now I want you to fast forward to 2012. Google. And I don't care what you think about big corporations in America, big corporate this, big corporate that. Google is one of the smartest companies on the planet. And they launched something called Project Aristotle. What they did was they studied 180 of their own teams for 2 years. And they tried to find the secret sauce. They wanted to know what was the secret sauce of their highest performing teams. And what they expected to find was smart people or shared backgrounds or matched experience levels. That's what they expected. But none of those mattered most. The number one predictor of a high performing team at Google was psychological safety. Now here's the translation for our world. That's not soft. That's not nice to have. That's billion-dollar data. And that data is telling you the single biggest lever for the performance of your home care agency is whether your team feels safe enough to tell you the truth. You see, Denise didn't quit because of money. She quit because she didn't feel safe telling me anything. And that was on me. That was me. I had to own that. You see, now, most agency owners think trust is a feeling. It's nice when you have it. You miss it when you don't. But you can run the business either way. And that is the most expensive mistake I see agency owners make. Trust is not a feeling. It's not. Trust is infrastructure. Nobody walks into a house and goes, wow, look at that beautiful electrical panel. Nobody does that. But when the power is out, you can't run the lights. You can't run the heat. You can't charge your phone. You can't do anything. And trust works exactly like that in your agency, in your business. You don't see it when it's working. You only feel it when it's broken. And right now, if you're getting call outs you didn't see coming, if you're losing caregivers you thought were happy, if your team smiles in front of you and goes silent behind you, your wiring has a short. And this week was not 5 lessons. This week was 1 lesson showing you the wiring that you could not see. Now, trust flows in 3 directions, 3 currents, 3 wires. Each one carries something different. And if any one of them is broken, the whole entire system fails. Now, current number 1, the transparency current. Let me write that down for you. Number 1. This is important, so I want you to get this and take notes. Transparency current. That's number 1. Transparency current. I'm going to say it again because my writing is a little sloppy, but I got it on the board for you so you know what I'm saying to you. Transparency current. This is trust flowing from you to your team. This is what we built Monday and Wednesday. Monday, we said, vulnerability is not a weakness. It's transparency with direction. The window and the wall. Wednesday, we said you can share the storm without letting go of the wheel. The captain doesn't lie to the passengers. The captain doesn't panic in front of them either. The captain tells the truth while still flying the plane. 3 rules, and I want you to memorize them. Rule number 1, share the chapter, not the whole journal. So inside of this, right, we're going to go here, put a little arrow. Number 1, share the chapter. Rule number 1, share the chapter. Now, we're sharing the chapter, not the whole journal. Not the whole journal. This is important. Share the chapter, but not the journal. Rule number 2, pair every problem with a plan. Now, we're going to go inside here. Let me go ahead, another arrow. Number 2, pair every problem, and we'll go with a plan. So we get now. Share the chapter, not the whole story, the whole book. 2, pair every problem with a plan. Nobody wants to hear you just spewing problems. Don't come to your team just spewing problems, but come talk about the problem, but bring a plan to solve the problem. That's what they look for you from. That's what they look for from you as a leader. And rule number 3, direction always comes after disclosure. Now, let me put this here. Direction after disclosure. Now, transparency current. Now let's talk about this. When transparency current is flowing, your team stops guessing, and guessing is what fear feeds on. So when we change how we communicated bad news at a touch of love, pairing every problem with a plan, every concern with the next step, caregiver retention moved up drastically. And that's inside of 1 operating year. We're talking about with the same team in the same market, but different transparency. That's not motivation, that's mechanics. That's what current does when you turn it on. Now, framework number 2. We're going to get into that one. That's current number 2. And I hope you wrote this down. I'm going to go over it right here again. Transparency current is number 1. Share the chapter. Pair every problem with a plan. Direction after disclosure. Now, we're going to go into the next part of this. I got to get me a bigger board. Because this is very important. So current number 2, the listening current. And this is trust flowing from your team back to you. That's what we built Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday, we found the leaks. 3 trust gaps. The consistency gap, the communication gap, the care gap. Your team is a bucket, and every mixed signal you send is a hole in the side of that bucket. Thursday, we built the greenhouse because honesty does not grow in an interrogation room. It grows in a greenhouse. Steady light, steady temperature, protected walls. 3 things, same 3 from this week. 1, make it safe to say the hard things. So now, make it safe. You want to make safety. You want to make a place where they can come and share and say the difficult things. You want to separate the message from the messenger. 2, reward the messenger, never shoot them. Your reaction to one person is a broadcast to everyone else. And 3, close the loop. Feedback without follow through kills future feedback. Simple. That works with your team, that works with your clients, and that works with your referral sources. Feedback is one of the most important things that you can gather in any business, in any industry, because it lets you know what you're doing right, it lets you know what you're doing wrong, it lets you know what you need to improve. And you will be surprised at how many ideas, thoughts, insights come through feedback that help you build and grow your business beyond measure. So when A Touch of Love started doing monthly closed loop emails, every piece of feedback received, and exactly what we did with it, the turnover dropped more than half. You see, people don't keep watering a plant that never grows. Who does that? No one. If the transparency current is telling you your team is telling your team the truth, the listening current is your team feeling safe to tell you theirs. Both have to flow. One without the other is a half-built circuit. Nothing turns on. And number 3, the performance current. That's current number 3. Now, this is trust flowing out of the agency as results. Friday, we connected the dots, the whole chain. I want you to watch it again. Trust unlocks ownership. Ownership unlocks accountability. Accountability unlocks the results. You see, most agency owners try to grab the end of the chain. They want results, so they push harder on results. More meetings, more tracking, more pressure. And nothing moves because you can't pull results through a broken chain. It doesn't work. The whole chain breaks here. At the first link, at trust. Fix trust and the chain pulls itself. When all 3 currents started flowing at our agency, transparency in, listening back, performance out, our client conversion rate moved and almost doubled. Same market, same team, different infrastructure. That isn't motivation. That isn't a pep talk. That isn't a personality. That's the math of trust. And the math of trust is the math of your business. Now, before we get into Q&A, I need you to do one thing, just one. I want you to look at your 3 currents right now. Transparency, listening, performance. Which one is broken? Not all 3. Not they all need work. One, the one with the worst leak, and I want you to write it down. And listen, I started this session with a story. And the story I've only told 2 other people in my entire life because I needed you to know the gap between where you are and where A Touch of Love is today didn't close because I'm special, because I'm not. It closed because I stopped guessing and started building the wiring on purpose. 5 days this week. Some of you showed up at 7 p.m., some watched the replay, but you did the work. You sat with the hard questions about your own leadership. Most people watch one video and move on. You showed up every single night. That's not an accident. That is who you are becoming. And the Home Care 7-Figure Blueprint community is where agency owners install this infrastructure. We do it together, not alone at midnight from a YouTube comment thread, together with the frameworks, with the real feedback, with a room full of people who get exactly what you're building. Because most of them are 6 months ahead or of where you are right now. Some inside the community. You get the Trust Code workbook, the leadership rhythm, templates we use at A Touch of Love, live coaching twice a month, and a private chat with the questions You're afraid to ask out loud, get real answers. I want you to drop Blueprint in the chat right now, and I'll send you the link personally. Now, if you're watching the replay, drop code, and the link will find you. I want you to know that I'm forever in your corner, always. You can send me your hardest leadership questions. You can put some in the chat right now. Anything from this Monday through Friday, last week, perfect model session, we get into them. We talk about 3 clocks, dead mile revenue gap. You can talk about it all. Nothing is off limits. Now, I already got 13 questions that came to me. Well, I picked out 13 that I'm going to actually address. But I want to hear from you. I'm going to get into some of these questions now, though. Let's see, question 1. This came from last Saturday. Talking about 3 o'clock alignment. It said, I tried the 3 o'clock approach, but my caregiver schedules are so chaotic, I can't even get a clean reading on their availability. Where do I even start? All right, so first thing first, I hear you. And I'll tell you what I did at A Touch of Love when ours looked the same way. Start with one caregiver, not all of them. Start with your most senior, most reliable person. Sit down with him or her for 20 minutes. Build their clock with them. Not for them, but build it with them. Travel time, energy windows. What time of day they feel sharpest. What they dread. And that one conversation will teach you more about caregiver clocks than 3 months of spreadsheet work. Then do the next caregiver next week. And inside of 90 days, you have a working map. You see, the mistake that most agency owners make is trying to map all 12 caregivers in one Saturday. You're not building a database. You're building relationships that happen to produce a schedule. Remember that. This is all about relationships. This is the key. All right. Question number 2. Let's see. Last Saturday, perfect week model. I built a 5-day perfect week, but my team hates Monday alignment day. They say it just feels like another meeting. How do I sell it to them? That's a really good question. And I'm going to give you the brutally honest answer. If they hate Monday alignment, you're running it like a meeting, not like an alignment. And there's a big difference. A meeting talks about the week. An alignment sets the week. 10 minutes, standing up, 3 questions only. Who's covering what? What's the one risk this week and who needs help? That's it. No slides, no status updates, nobody sits down, standing. And when I cut our Monday huddle at A Touch of Love from 45 minutes sitting to 10 minutes standing, same agenda, different format, the complaints stopped. Try that for 2 weeks. If they still hate it, you've got a culture issue, not a structure issue. And that's a different conversation.
Bravo.
Let's see. Question number 3. Saturday perfect week model. I run a small agency, 6 caregivers total. That's a very small agency. We need to get more caregivers for sure. I'm sure you're having schedule problems all over. Is the perfect week model even possible at my size? Well, let me tell you. Not only is it possible at your size, it works better at your size. It's easier. It's better at 6 than 60. Here's why. At 6, you can hold every clock in your head. At 60, you need systems just to remember names. Now, the blocks don't change. Monday alignment, Tuesday growth, Wednesday systems, Thursday people, Friday close. The time inside each block does. Maybe your Monday alignment is 10 minutes instead of 40. Maybe your Tuesday growth is 2 referral calls instead of 15. Smaller doesn't mean less structure. It means tighter structure with sharper focus. Now, the agencies that scale from 6 to 60 are the ones that build rhythm at 6. Don't wait until you're too big to act professional. Act professional now and you'll get big. All right. Getting some good questions we got here. Let's see. Let's look at this one. Revenue growth formula. I did the dead miles math from last week and got $34,000 a year in lost revenue. I literally don't believe that number. Did I do it wrong? Oh, let me say probably not. And I'm going to tell you why. I didn't believe my number either the first time I ran it. I ran it 3 times because I was sure I had miscounted. I was positive. It couldn't convince me I didn't. And the reason it feels unbelievable is that you've never let yourself add up the small losses. A 25-minute scramble here, a 40-minute coverage call there, and a 2-hour reactive afternoon on a Wednesday. Each one alone feels like noise, but noise compounds. 12 hours a week times your billing rate times 52 weeks. That's a real number with a real comma in it. Don't argue with the math. Run it one more time, slowly, and then let the size of that number motivate the size of the change that you're going to implement. That number is what staying the same is costing you. Make the changes. All right, let's see. All right. Last Saturday, billing rate. I wanted to raise my billing rate from 28 to 36, like you talked about. But how do I actually have that conversation with families who've been with me for years? I get this one so often. I feel like no one listens. So I'm going to teach it again because this is critical. It's critical. People are afraid to charge what they're worth, afraid to raise their rates, thinking that they're going to lose clients. But let me share this with you. 3 things made it work for us at A Touch of Love. 1, do it on the anniversary, not mid-relationship. Families expect a change at anniversaries. 2, lead with what they get, not with what they pay. Starting next month, we're moving to our 2026 service tier. Same caregivers plus monthly family updates, faster sub coverage, and direct phone access to our care team. 3, hold the line. The first family that pushes back isn't pushing back on the price. They're testing if you believe in it or not. If you flinch, every conversation after gets harder. We lost 2 families in that transition. We kept 30, almost 30. The 2 who left were never going to grow with us anyway. That's a different kind of loss. And it's one that you can live with. So don't worry. Charge what you're worth. The reality is that families are, the home care, the family is supposed to pay you to take care of their loved one, to deliver that safety and that quality that they need for their loved one to care. In some instances, we're so afraid to charge, thinking that they're going to go to another agency, that we're actually paying for their family's care. And that shouldn't be. Make sure that you are delivering enough quality that it justifies your price. Matter of fact, make sure you're delivering enough quality that it more than justifies your price. And you don't lose any sleep over whether they come or go, because if they leave, they weren't going to stay with you anyway. All right. Wednesday Systems Day. What does Wednesday System Day actually look like in practice? Mine just turns into another reactive day where I put out whatever fire is burning. I know a lot about that. I've been a firefighter for years without ever picking up a hose. So I want you to say that. So first thing we need to say is that you don't have a Wednesday System Day. You have a Wednesday, and there's a difference. Wednesday System Day at A Touch of Love is one thing. Closing Loops Monday, Closing the Loops Monday opened it up. We looked at 3 lists. 1, what we plan to do this week. 2, what actually happened so far. And 3, where the gap is. Then we asked one question. Is this drift recoverable inside this week, or does it have to roll? That's it. 45 minutes, same time every Wednesday. The fires aren't allowed in that block. If something's actively burning, it's not a Wednesday System Day problem. It's a Tuesday reset ritual problem. Move it. Protecting this block like rent, because Wednesday is where the leaks get caught before Friday becomes a flood. Got it? Now, Thursday People Day. How do I do meaningful caregiver check-ins on Thursday without them feeling like a forced HR conversation? Wow. All right. Well, the first thing is take the form off the table, literally. Most owners turn check-ins into HR by bringing a clipboard. Don't bring it. In our agency, my Thursday check-ins are 15-minute phone calls with 3 questions. That's it. How's your week going? What's working? What's getting in your way? That's it. No notes, no rubbish, no on a scale of 1 to 10. I close my office door, I put my feet up, I listen. I take 1 note at the end on a sticky pad and stick it in my Friday close. That note is the only homework. The reason caregivers tell me real things isn't because I'm a great interviewer. It's because the conversation feels like a conversation, not an evaluation, not an interrogation. People don't open up to clipboards. They open up to chairs. All right, now, Friday close. By Friday, I'm exhausted. The last thing I want to do is more planning. How do I have the energy to do a Friday close every week? Great question. And here's the honest answers. Some Fridays, I don't have the energy to do it either. So I cut it to 10 minutes. 3 numbers, 1 question. The 3 numbers: revenue this week, hours delivered, new client conversations. 1 question: what's the single biggest thing I need to protect on Monday? Done. The reason Friday close feels exhausted is you're treating it like a strategic session, and it's not. It's a landing. A pilot doesn't write a flight plan after landing. He just confirms the runway and shuts the engines down. So if you're so wiped on Friday you can't do 10 minutes, that's a Tuesday problem, not a Friday problem. You burned the wrong fuel earlier in the week. We can fix that, but Friday's not the place to fix it. Owner time buckets. I'm honestly 90% in the bucket 3, pure operations. I know I need to be in bucket 1, revenue work, but my team can't function without me. Where do I start? Well, You don't start with the schedule. You start with one decision. Decide which bucket 3 activity has the lowest dollar value if you stop doing it. And I mean if you stop doing it personally. Just pick one. Now for me, it was answering the phone. I was answering the phone for first-time inquiries. And I was doing it because I thought my voice closed deals. Then I trained my care coordinator on a 4-question intake script. Listened to her first 5 calls, got her notes, and stepped away. Now, conversion didn't drop. It actually went up. It went up over the next year because she was consistent. I was reactive. So pick one task, train one person, and step away once. That's the entire game. You don't escape Becca 3 by working harder. You escape it by replacing yourself on a task, one task at a time. All right. Saturday. Let's see. Tuesday growth day. I protected Tuesday, like you said. Made the referral partner calls, did the outreach 6 weeks in, nothing. What am I missing? Well, first 6 weeks is not nothing. 6 weeks is the warm-up. Referral relationships. Remember, referral relationships take 3 to 6 months to compound. But let me push you on something. When you say made the calls, were they calls or were they pitches? And there's a huge difference. A pitch says, here's what we do, please refer us. A call says, how can I make your job easier? Now, discharge planners and case managers don't refer agencies, they refer relief, they refer ease, they refer the person who solves their Tuesday afternoon problem before it becomes their Wednesday morning crisis. Show up to help them, not to sell them. See, when we changed that one thing at A Touch of Love, our referral pipeline doubled. It happened in the next quarter, same calls, different reasons for calling, but it happened and it takes time. 3 to 6 months to cultivate those relationships to where they start producing. And then much longer than that to solidify it. Now, Monday vulnerability. I tried being vulnerable with my team like you taught Monday. One caregiver used something I shared against me in a tough conversation a week later. Now I want to close right back up. What do I do? Well, first thing I'm going to say is that I'm sorry that happened to you. That's painful and it's real. Now I want you to hear me on this. One person misusing your honesty is not evidence of vulnerability, that vulnerability doesn't work. It's evidence that one person misuses things. If you close back up because one bad outcome with one team member, you're going to lose the trust of every person on your team, most of whom are holding their breath, waiting to see if it was safe to be real with you or not. So the move isn't to close up. That's not the move. The move is to address that one conversation directly and professionally with that one caregiver. Now, when you tell them, when you brought up what I shared in confidence, that broke something. Here's what I need from you going forward. Then keep the window open for everyone else. Don't let one leak make you tear out all the wiring. No. Every system, every relationship is going to be tested. Be prepared. Understand that that's what's going to happen. And understand that the rest of the team is looking to see how you are going to respond. So respond accordingly, respond professionally. Respond the way as a leader who's trying to build that trust structure. And watch it grow. Now, this question is Tuesday Trust Scraps. I think my biggest leak is the care gap. I genuinely don't know my caregivers as people. How do I start without feeling fake? Now, let me say this. The fact that you are worried about it feeling fake tells me it won't. Fake people don't worry about feeling fake. Real people do. Now, here's how I would start. Pick the caregiver who's been with you the longest. Send a text on a Sunday, not a Monday. Don't do it during work. Send it on a Sunday. Send it that says, hey, I realize I don't know the answer to this. What's the one thing about your life outside of work I should know about you? And send it on a Sunday. Then read the answer. 2 weeks later, bring it up. How's your son's baseball season going? That's it. That's the entire fix for the care gap. It's not a program. It's a memory plus a follow-up. Do that with one person a week inside 3 months, you'll know your whole team. And they'll know you saw them. Last one. Friday performance change. I'm doing the work to build trust. I really am. But my team still operates like employees, not owners. How long does this actually take? That's a great question. That's an excellent question and perfect question for me to end this off on. Now, the honest answer is longer than you want, shorter than you fear. Now, for me, at our agency, the shift from compliant team to ownership team was about 9 months. Not 9 days, not 9 weeks, 9 months of consistent transparency, consistent listening, consistent closed loops. And it didn't happen all at once. One caregiver shifted around month 3, 2 more around month 5. By month 9, the whole culture had changed. Gravity. Here's the thing that nobody tells you. The reason it takes time is your team has been trained by past bosses, past jobs, and past disappointments. That opening up gets punished. You're not just building trust, you're unteaching mistrust. And that work is slower, but it's permanent. So stay the course. 9 months from now, you're going to look up and you're not going to recognize your own agency. And that's a beautiful place to be in. Okay, family, that's our time. If anything landed for you today, just drop trust in the chat one time, so I know you finished the whole session with me. If you're watching on the replay, drop it anyway. And if you're ready to install this infrastructure for real, drop Blueprint in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, drop code, and the link will find you. I am forever in your corner, always. I'll see you Monday night at 7. God bless. Make this a great weekend.